Right, couple of minutes then. Hey, Marjolaine, how fantastic. You're the first. Shame I can't hear people, isn't it, really? One of the Raven sisters. Jackie, hi, Jackie. Vivian, North Germany. Oh, everyone's coming up. New Zealand. Right, is that Philip? Is Philip at your house? Hey, hello. Just start in a minute or so. Hello, Jackie. Yes, you've been happy wassailing. And Ramsgate, New York. Must get to New York soon. Must get to New York. So it's a bit chilly over here. Not as cold as it was, but getting down towards freezing. So I'm just sat in our holiday cottage, just by the heater. Just it's nice and quiet over here as well. No kids. I thought I'd come over here. I thought I'd come over here because over in the house, the Xbox Live is going and YouTube's on, and then they'll be complaining that I'm hogging all the bandwidth. So I'm over in the holiday cottage because it's quite nice in dear old Bath in Somerset. So right, it's 8 o'clock. So we'll just see if getting some more. But I thought I'd check. One of the things that always irritates me is when modern Druidry is, or even neo-paganism, modern paganism is sort of condemned for being modern, and because of the lack of written evidence. They say there's no link to the past, but in fact, I think so. What I wanted to do was look at how the Guernsey and sort of ancient pagan thinking and the way we approach Druidry in the modern world and ancient pagan thinking are fairly similar. So 8:01. I think I'll get cracking then. So Socrates, he asked a lot of questions, such as the key one. Well, what is the reason for living life other than to love it? What makes us happy? What makes us good? What is virtue? What is fear? And how should we best live our lives? Howdy, Jay Jr. Clearly, hello from Carolina. Oh, everyone's coming in now. Nebraska. Gosh, Germany. Very good. What else? Michigan. Gosh, never been to Michigan. Never been to Nebraska. Wonder if anyone's coming in from Wisconsin. That's the only place I've been in the States. County Tipperary. Oh, yes, jolly good. France. Bonsoir. Jackie again. Jackie, are you coming in just lots of different times to say hi? Anyway, we live in interesting times. And, I'm quite an out there kind of Druid, and I work in politics. And one of the things that really scares me, hi Delaware, hi Kent, is one of the things that scares me is the rise of fascism. And it's almost like fascism has just been waiting since the end of the Second World War. It's been waiting for its moment, and its moment seems to have arrived. And in the face of that anger and Pamela, the lack of concern, that slogan of fascism, we just don't care. It's very easy to feel powerless in the face of populism. For Socrates, powerful, substanceless argument was a disgusting thing. Rhetoric without truth was one of the greatest threats to what he would say a good society. And at his trial, he said, "It's not my crimes that will convict me, but instead rumor, gossip, the fact that you whispering together will persuade yourselves that I am guilty," which that reminds you of how the far right uses social media simply to spread rumor, and and it's that sort of almost the echo chamber of you get sucked into people's views. Ulster, fantastic. Pat, Frankfurt, Skegness, Breda NL. Is that Netherlands? That's Netherlands. Nicole, hello. Hesiod, another great pagan writer, says rumor never disappears entirely once people have indulged her. Colorado, Montana, wow, excellent. Hi from Bath in England. We have the Roman baths here at Bath. Wisconsin, yay! The only place I've been in the US. Hello, Wisconsin. So we have the Roman baths, and I don't think there's many inscriptions left like at the Oracle of Delphi. But it's quite interesting that at the Oracle of Delphi, the three things that remain: surety, then ruin, everything in moderation, and know thyself. And Socrates also said that the unexamined life is a life not worth living. So where does that leave us then? Because in the Gwers, oh, hang on a sec, let me just have a quick look. I'm from Texas. I love Bath, such an injury. Yes, it's a very interesting place. Jane Austen's town. Langport, Staffordshire. I've been to Staffordshire for a while. Let's get up there. So if we look at, and Athens. Well, Athens, and there's me talking about the Oracle at Delphi. Well done, Denia. And then obviously, I think probably you could definitely say that Socrates was potentially an ancient Greek. East Yorkshire, well done. If you think what we do in the Guerci, is we look at ourselves. The Guerci throw experience at us, and then we're asked to examine our responses and actually learn about ourselves. And that we often get that criticism thrown at us that this is a new modern thing, there's no link to the past. But if you look at the Socratic way, the first thing you would do under his teachings is examine your life, take a good fundamental look at yourself, and then master yourself. So it's the stuff that's thrown at you in life, you can't control particularly, but you can master your response to what happens to you in life and be in charge of yourself in that way. And I think that's the journey that a lot of us are on, particularly those who've had adverse childhood experiences, that sort of thing, but also those of us who don't want to live in that echo chamber of social media where we simply just bounce ideas off people we know. And I think that's one of the great things about Druidry, is that diversity. But master yourself. The other thing, live simply. You can obviously understand that the pursuit of things to try and make you happy doesn't really work, and actually live simply, live around your needs, and give help to others. Give help to others. I mean, in my case, being a grumpy old git, a lot of the time I'm not a very charitable person, but I'm happy to pay my taxes and have my government look after the people who need help, and to support the people who give that help. But give help to others. Desist from worry is another thing that Socrates would say, because worry consumes us. Louisville, Kentucky, woo! And Tuscany, oh, I love Tuscany. So desist from worry, because worry is an all-consuming thing that occupies your time and doesn't achieve anything. So Socrates would say, desist from worry, because if you create the space, if you don't occupy yourself with worry, then you can enjoy the moments. You're free to enjoy the little moments of life and find happiness in the little moments. And finally, Socrates would say, nurture relationships. So, that could be family, could be friends, friendship groups, loved ones, obviously, community, whether that's your physical community or an interest community. But nurture those relationships, because it's in those relationships that we grow, that human beings need that interaction. So that was kind of what Socrates was teaching 2,000 years ago. And I think that's just terribly relevant to what we do today. Let me just check here. Oh, another Wisconsin. Hello. Frankfurt, hey, Connie. Hope you're well. Hope the baby's okay. Hello from my travels in. Oh, how do you scroll? No, I can't scroll. My travels in. Well, actually, can't see. Oh, there we go. Sydney, New South Wales. Wow, there you go. Hello, dearly beloved. Yes. Me. Let's just try the difficult thing. So, how should we behave as druids? Clearly, the Gwersi is what links us all. We've all done it. That's the beauty of OBOD. We've all experienced the Gwersi. Not very many people share exactly the same experience because we're all different. California, a dearly beloved family. I miss you so much. Okay, yes. It's a little bar that's cutting off the bottom of people's comments. Getting half the comment. Yeah. So how should we live? We're all individuals, so we all experience the Gwersi differently. But it's that shared experience, and it's those relationships within Druidry that are so important to nurture. And how should we live as modern Druids? Well, I would say with integrity. And I was looking around various websites. People say a personal commitment to act ethically, to cultivate right intention. And when we gather together as equals, as I like to see in our rituals. Nova Scotia, preach. Is that what I'm doing? I'm preaching, or is that an encouragement to keep going? And Norway. Oh wow, went to Norway last 2 years ago. Or was it 3 years ago? Snow, lots of snow. Yes, the Chinese do have a saying, "May you live in interesting times." As I said, I've always been an out there kind of a druid. I found OBOD in '89, 90. I started working at Newcastle for Tyne Television, and I just arrived and said, "I'm a druid," and everybody just got used to it. But right through my television career, going into the civil service for 6 years, I've always been out there as a druid. Community work, always been out there as a druid. And the Druid grade talks about being of service to your community. And for me, that's what has always rung true. And that includes, I think, getting involved in local politics. It does for me. And I stood as a member of the Green Party once, back in '87. And that was that ecological impetus and wanting to do something for the natural world. And outside of politics, I've done lots of environmental work in the community. The urge to deliver on that impetus. Won lots of awards and stuff. But even though I've done all that good stuff, it was the rise of fascism has left me feeling ashamed that I'm sort of nurtured within a ball of a very comfortable life. Thank you very much. So Surrey, Canada, Switzerland, fantastic. Now, my grandfather volunteered to go and fight the Nazis in the Second World War. He had an Irish grandfather and a Jewish mother, and he was living in London, which at the time had our very own Nazi, Oswald Mosley, and his black shirts. And his experience in his life, even though he had a reserved occupation and didn't need to go and fight, some such, or was too old or whatever. He volunteered to go. And I think it was that realization that he had responded to the challenge, and I was just enjoying my comfortable life. But it was the words that, having made the decision, I think, that I needed to do more. It was some words that you'll recognise, from our rituals that inspired me, and those words are: by the power of star and stone, by the power of the land within and without, by all that is fair and free. Fair and free. By all that is fair and free. Well, what does that mean? Fair, social justice, free, liberty. But what it meant was I ended up joining a political party in the UK, and this is what they say: who exist to build and safeguard a fair, free and open society in which we seek to balance the fundamental values of liberty, equality and community, and in which no one shall be enslaved by poverty, ignorance or conformity. Now, I completely understand that we can't all be politically active as Druids. We can't all be out there because we're not all in a safe situation or in a safe place to actually be community Druids. But I believe that those of us who can should. And I very much admire some of my fellow Druids who have joined political parties, who are members of political parties, that, whilst don't share entirely my views or beliefs or whatever, we're all actively responding to that urge to be, well, what are we going to be? We should be listening, we should be championing, we should be bastions of the truth, we should be defenders of the liberties that our grandfathers fought for. Glastonbury, Southern Oregon, Stroud, Colorado, keeping it going. So what did Socrates say? He said, nurture relationships, loved ones, family, friendship groups, community. The thing about getting active politically, if you're able to, is that you surround yourself with like-minded individuals who are happy to discuss and be intellectually stimulating, even where they don't agree. And once you become part of a community of some sort, there's differences of opinion. But being part of a community, being part of that team or that movement is tremendously important and is tremendously rewarding. So, coming together with other defenders of all that is fair and free is tremendously empowering, which means you no longer feel powerless in the face of populism. So honor our pagan forebears, rhetoric with truth. But obviously, quite clearly, Svalbard, blimey, yay, Wisconsin, and North Wales, well done, Seattle, Colorado. I said Colorado before. So, I'm not drinking beer this time. This turns out to be cranberry juice, because I seem to somehow inadvertently be doing a dry January. Not that I plan to, which means I may have to go out on Friday and have a drink just to prove that I'm not a victim of marketing gimmicks. Miami, Florida. I hope it's nice and warm there. Blooming freezing, miserable. So, transforming ourselves into champions for all that is fair and free, for liberty, for justice, and the love of justice. We say that in our Druid's prayer: justice and the love of justice, social justice. Liberty. It does help. I think it very much helps to use ritual to put on that mantle. And I'm going to read you some words from, ooh, where's the, oh, got it. Right, this is Killing Joke, believe it or not, post-punk visionaries. And this is an album, you know, Martin Glover is an honorary bard in the order, and he was the bassist and one of the writers. I don't know if he wrote these words or Jazz Coleman, but I'm just going to read you these words by way of an Eisteddfod, by way of an sort of a ritualized Eisteddfod, with a view to embracing the warrior within you. Mark out the points, build the pyre, assemble different drummers, light up the fire, put on your masks and animal skins, illumination, illumination. Listen to the drums between each beat of the drum. O beloved mother of liberty, hold me in your arms. Burn, burn, burn brightly, burn, burn, burn white heat. And the day will come before the lights go out. Who will you turn to? Who will you turn to? Choose the crucifixion or Osiris slain, reoccurring themes, time again. Illumination, illumination. Burn, burn, burn brightly. Burn, burn, burn white heat. Oh, how ingenious the centuries of lies. Ezekiel's chariots streak across the skies. Holy books and history texts forget, because we know souls are recycled in the death and resurrection show. O beloved mother of liberty, come to me. Everything I'm taught amounts to naught. Everything I learn, the fire shall burn. Notions of myself that I'm not. Whoever I was is now lost. Illumination, illumination. Burn, burn, burn brightly. Burn, burn, burn white heat. O beloved mother of liberty, come to me. Burn away all my impurities. Hold me in your arms. So that, for me, that whole track is like a ritual that sort of within a song, and I think if you want to, empower yourself and strengthen yourself, then that sort of ritual, that purification of fire is an embracing mother of liberty. So yeah, that was Killing Joke from their 2003 album, the title track, Death and Resurrection Show. So yeah, what is the reason for living life other than to love it? That's what Socrates said. So I think what I'll do in the next 5 minutes is we'll just have a little guided visualization, and I'll be taking my glasses off and sitting back. John, hiya. I'm gonna have a sip of my cranberry juice. The shutdown is threatening as wasteful actions happen in the national park. Yeah, strangely, that was what fascists do. They use democracy to get into power, and then they dismantle the institutions of democracy. They imprison journalists and political opposition, and what we've seen over here is the physical harassment of liberal politicians. And by that, I don't mean politicians in the Liberal Democrat Party. I mean liberal politicians who are somewhere in the middle ground, so who aren't extreme right, somewhere up to the extreme left, who probably share the same views. But that rise of fascism, that intimidation is of liberal politicians, or the imprisonment of politicians. This is fascism coming back big time. But let's get back to this notion of nurturing relationships. So we'll go into we'll go into a little guided visualization. So wherever you are, just, oh gosh, sorry, the heater behind me is blasting out heat in a slightly unnerving way, hopefully not setting fire to my jumper. So all is well, all is well. So just sit comfortably in your chair, become aware of the solidity and physical solidity of your chair and the realness and the weight of your body upon it. If you're sitting or wherever you are, feel your feet upon the floor, the solidity of the floor beneath you, and maybe the building around you, how it connects to the earth, that physical structure. And just allow your awareness of the physical world to dissolve, to melt away, as you find yourself moving along the path to your sacred grove, your feet upon the earth, the smell of the earth, the woods, the trees around you, the noise, is there any breeze? As you make your way along the woodland path to your sacred grove, a space you know very well. And just stand in the center of your grove with your feet upon the earth and sense beneath you the energy of the earth. Feel it rise up to touch the soles of your feet. And feel your light body energized by this contact with the earth. And feel your light body become active and allow it to manifest itself throughout your body until you are surrounded by light. And you breathe in the light and you breathe out the light. And you are one with the light. And you move from your grove down a wild, little used track path that leads away and leads deeper into the woods, into the forest, moving along the path, moving silently and slowly as you start to become aware of the living things around you, small creatures. And you become aware ahead of a clearing with some kind of beast, some kind of animal in it, quietly eating the grass or chewing the leaves or nibbling the bark. And you pause on the edge of a glade where the beast is. And you reach out with your light body and you touch the light body of the beast, the energy of the beast, the living force of that beast. Soothing, gentle, don't be startled. All is calm. There is no death, no threat, no danger. And reaching out and understanding that relationship between you and that beast, that creature. The difference between reaching out with your light body and touching their life force with your life force, to being human in that space, and being the threat, and being the danger, and understanding that difference. Creature looks up, looks around. There's no threat, there's no danger. And they decide to move off to do something else, and that leaves you reached out, and you begin to sense the living force of all the small creatures that live in the ground, and the birds of the air who live up above you. You sense their life force as you reach out with your light body. The light body re-energized by your connection with the earth. And you reach out to the creatures and sense their living forms. Focus on that relationship. And as you're reached out, you sense also the living force of the trees. And beneath the soil with their roots, the mycelium that connects that entire ecosphere, biosphere, whatever the word is, that connects that living forest, that living wood. The trees are alive. The animals are alive. You sense that life force. Understand the relationship that you have with that, with the rocks beneath the soil, with the air, with the waters. And just allow your awareness of all that living life force to slightly diminish as you pull back your light body back towards yourself, bringing your light body back, bringing your awareness back to standing on the side of the glade. And as you move your feet back towards your grove, sense that connection with the earth, the energy of the earth. And even with your light body back close to your astral body, you can still sense the living force around you. And as you return to the center of your grove, that grove you know so well, you stand once more in the center. And you allow your light body to return within you. Safe, centered, and you just allow the connection with the energy of the earth to relax. And you allow your awareness of that sacred grove to begin to fade. And just before you return to the physical world, just reach out and sense all those of us who are focused on this moment in this place, this digital place, all around the world, like-minded beings. One day, perhaps, all champions for all that is fair and free. All those druids. Together we are a very strong voice. We are not powerless. And allow your awareness of your physical form to manifest itself, the chair beneath you, the solid floor beneath you. Bring yourself back with a deep breath fully into the here and now, in your space. And when you're ready, open your eyes. So I think what I'd like to just to finish on is, well, apart from hi Claire from Brighton, yo, I was born in Brighton, woo, seagulls. And my grandfather lived in Brighton. I would like to honour my grandfather by trying to ensure that we inspire our grandchildren to be champions for whatever they choose to be champions for. May the example of my life be that inspiration. That was it. That's the half. That's the. Sorry about that. That's the half an hour up. So I hope you've enjoyed this tea with a Druid, or indeed cranberry juice with a Druid. And we'll just do some the Highlands. Where we go? The Highlands, New Zealand again. Somebody who's Norwegian but in the Philippines. Thomas, wow. Don't get burnt, mate. Fair-skinned, fair-skinned Irish types. We tend to burn easily, Faversham in Kent. Yes, yeah. You're breaking my concentration by calling out meaningless places in the world. Well, I think the point of that, if I may, is to allow you to get an idea of just what a global community you're part of. But I'm sorry it was distracting. Where can we get a copy of the album? Do you know? I'm not sure, because I've searched for this Killing Joke album, the Death and Resurrection Show, and I don't know where to get it from. Dave Grohl was on drums. It was 2003, Zuma Recordings Limited. www.killingjoke.com. Yeah, so the Death and Resurrection Show. I honestly don't know if that's still in print, but boy, is it! I love it. But and Smithy, Dave the Bard, was telling me that the latest album's very good as well. Your limit to coffee, love of life. Yes. So life's only worth living if we love life. So there we go. Let's have a look. What else? Oh gosh, there's lots of. Yes, gosh, there's lots of that poem, but they'll tell me for it. Yes. So I think there's Addy. Clearly, fascists like to steal the native tradition of their time, and I think that's something else we need to strive against. I love. I think I mentioned it last time, but I love the story in Peter Paris Fidelis's book on the Druids, where he talks about the life of Saint Guinole, and the saint is having this conversation with an ancient Druid, and the saint says, "Surely you'd like to spend your final days in the comfort of a monastery." And the Druid said, "No, I prefer my woodland paths." At the saint was going, but there's only one true path. And the Druid says, "Do not all paths lead to the same great centre?" Now, I don't know how accurate that is, but I like the story because it suggests that the act of journeying towards something is what we share, even if we disagree on what that end product is or that end thing is. Anyway, I'm probably going a long way beyond my allotted time. So Badger Dig under the wall. Oh gosh, there's a lot of comments. Comments are coming in so fast, but I can't actually keep up with them. Thank you from Norwich. Well, there you go. Yeah, so good evening, everybody. I have to go and make sure my children are still in the house. That would be good. I suspect my 16-year-old's out, and my 11-year-old is bored. So thank you, Joe. And I think on that note, I shall say good night or good day, wherever you happen to be. And yeah, one day I look forward to meeting as many of you as I possibly can. So go in peace and be proud to fight for justice and liberty.